The Galactic Senate had convened on Arcturus Prime, a neutral world where 1,000 species gathered under crystalline domes that refracted starlight into rainbows. Among them stood Queen Jasmine of the Terran Coalition, her presence commanding despite humanity's recent arrival to the galactic stage. The other species had dismissed humans as primitive, soft-skinned, short-lived, weaked-up. Kevin knew better. He stood in the shadows of the Grand Hall, one of Queen Jasmine's security detail. His eyes swept the crowd continuously, the insectoid vexillary delegates with their compound eyes, the gaseous luminari floating in containment suits, the reptilian Scott H whose scales gleamed like polished stone. Any one of them could be a threat. Queen Jasmine was speaking now, her voice clear and unwavering as she addressed the Senate. Humanity seeks not dominance, but partnership. We bring innovation, adaptability, and an unbreakable will to survive. These are our offerings to the galactic community. Kevin's earpiece crackled. His fellow agent Sarah's voice came through. Movement in Sector 7. Thermal signatures off. He shifted his position slightly, hand moving toward the plasma pistol concealed beneath his jacket. The sector was near the Scott H delegation, a species known for their warrior culture and recent territorial disputes with humanity. Then he saw it, a glint of metal, the distinctive barrel of a quantum disruptor, a weapon that could atomize a target in microseconds. It was aimed directly at Queen Jasmine. Kevin didn't think. Humans rarely did when survival instincts kicked in, that same adrenaline-fueled response that had carried their species through ice ages, plagues, and wars. He launched himself across 15 feet of marble floor, his body a missile aimed at his queen. The disruptor fired. Kevin collided with Jasmine, wrapping his arms around her as they tumbled behind the speaker's podium. White-hot agony exploded through his left side as the weapon's edge caught him, tearing through synthetic armor and flesh alike. The smell of burning tissue filled his nostrils. Chaos erupted. Security from a dozen species converged on the Scott H section. Energy shields snapped into place around the delegates. Alarms screamed their discordant warnings. Kevin tried to stand, to continue protecting his queen, but his legs wouldn't respond properly. He looked down and saw so much red spreading across the white marble floor. His side was a ruin of cauterized tissue and exposed bone. "Stay down." Jasmine's voice cut through his haze. She was pressed against him, her hands already moving to apply pressure to his wound. Her royal gown, a masterpiece of Terran silk worth more than most starship, soaked up his blood without hesitation. "Your Majesty," Kevin managed through gritted teeth, "you need to evacuate." "Shut up, soldier." Her hands pressed harder and he gasped. "I'm not leaving you." Around them, the situation was being contained. The assassin, a rogue Scott H mercenary, had been neutralized. But Kevin's vision was tunneling, darkness creeping in at the edges. He'd lost too much blood. Even with their advanced medical technology, he might not look at me, Jasmine commanded. And years of military discipline made him obey. Her eyes were fierce, burning with an intensity that rivaled any star. "You don't have my permission to die, Kevin. Do you understand? That's an order." He wanted to laugh, as if death cared about orders, but this was humanity's queen, and she was holding him together literally with nothing but pressure and willpower. The medical team arrived, Terran doctors with their emergency equipment. They worked with practiced efficiency, deploying nanite injections and synthetic blood, sealing wounds that should have been fatal. Through it all, Jasmine didn't move. Her hands stayed pressed to his wound until the doctors physically had to remove them to work. She knelt beside him in the blood and chaos, her crown askew, her dress ruined, her dignity somehow undiminished. "The other species are watching," one of her advisors whispered urgently. "Your Majesty, the optics." "Let them watch," Jasmine said coldly. "Let them see what humanity values. This man threw himself into weapons fire for me. I won't abandon him to bleed alone." The alien delegates were indeed watching, some with their equivalent of shock, others with what might have been respect. The Vexani hive mind chittered among themselves. The luminari pulsed with solemn colors. They had called humans weak, soft, but here was their queen, covered in blood, refusing to leave a dying soldier's side. Here was that soldier, who had moved faster than their senses could track, accepting certain death to preserve another's life. This was humanity, not weak, never weak. Kevin's vitals stabilized. The lead doctor, a woman named Chen, looked up with relief. "He'll make it. The nanites are working. He'll need extensive regeneration therapy, but he'll survive." "See," Jasmine said, and Kevin realized she was talking to him, her hand now gently holding his. "I told you that you didn't have permission to die." Kevin managed a weak smile. "Wouldn't dare disobey, Your Majesty." The medical team loaded him onto an anti-grav stretcher. But before they could take him away, Jasmine stood and addressed the assembled Senate. Her voice carried across the hall, amplified by speakers, translated into 1,000 languages. "You wonder what makes humanity worthy of joining your ranks," she said. "Wonder no more. We are a species that runs toward danger when others freeze. We sacrifice ourselves for our own. We face death not with resignation but with defiance." She gestured to Kevin. "This man is humanity. His courage, his loyalty, His refusal to yield even to death itself. This is what we bring to the stars. The Senate was silent. Then, slowly, the Vexani began their clicking, the sound of their applause. The luminary pulsed bright with approval. Even some of the Scott H delegation, those not involved in the assassination attempt, touched their foreheads in salute. As Kevin was carried away to the medical bay, Queen Jasmine walking beside his stretcher despite protocol demanding otherwise, he understood something profound. Humanity had just earned its place among the stars, not through technology or weapons, but through something far more powerful. Humanity had shown the galaxy what it meant to be human, fierce, loyal, and utterly unbreakable. And in the bloodstained marble of the Senate floor, they had left their mark, a reminder that the newest species in the galaxy might just be the most formidable.